LoreWarrior Aerotech. ON-1 Oni. Overview. The clan invasion prompted the Draconis Combine to field new technologies. Though much of this effort would focus on mech forces, fighters also came under scrutiny. The need to quickly field advanced equipment prompted the DCMS to favour an upgrade program, but the Combine also would pursue new designs. Unfortunately, production facilities for the first dedicated new tech fighter, the Psy, were overrun by Clan Smoke Jaguar and weren't recovered until 3059. Additional efforts would focus on Omnimech technology, namely the Tatsu Omni Fighter. It wasn't until after developing the S7 version of the Psy that Wakazashi's efforts would once more return to building a new Omni Fighter. The later conflict with the Ghost Bears and Federated Suns would delay completion of the project, more effort being put into production of more proven designs, and a new aircraft wasn't flown until 3066, too late to have a major impact in either conflict. This new design was the ON-1, named the Oni, or Demon, of Combine legend. Capabilities. In some regards, the ON-1 has a number of similarities to its S7 brother, principally in its performance and use of MRMs and ER lasers as their main armaments. The heavier Oni mounts a single MRM-30 launcher in the nose, with 2 tons of ammunition, allowing for sustained volleys. A pair of wing-mounted diverse optics Type 30 large lasers provides longer-range firepower, while a single sunbeam laser boosts close-in firepower. The Oni is slightly less maneuverable than its lighter sibling, though it can still achieve Mach 2 at lower levels, but has comparable armor protection in the form of 6 tons of the new Bakemono advanced composites. The Oni has been well received by the DCMS, who appreciate its combination of resilience and hard-hitting firepower. Only its poorer endurance has drawn any criticism, though this limits the missions appropriate for the design. Deployment. Although only in its first year of service deployment, the Oni has seen action on 2 different fronts. In late 3065, a pair of the prototypes would fight an equal number of Batu that accompanied a Ghost Bear raiding party. The battle ranged around the jump point, with neither force gaining a decisive advantage, coming to a conclusion only when both forces ran low on fuel. Both the clan and spheroid warriors would salute the other's skill and then return to their dropships. The second encounter took place on the Lyran border and was far less amicable, and saw the destruction of an Oni by an Alliance Eisensturm. The Steiner forces blamed the DCMS for the battle, which took place above Lyons, while simultaneously failing to explain what a merchant vessel was doing carrying a cutting-edge Omni Fighter. The Lyran transport was eventually driven off by the DCMS with its visa for future trade missions suspended, pending investigation. So the Oni is a 55-ton fighter. Its framework is the Wakazashi 5-ON. Its power plant is the Shinobi 275 Fusion. God, they're really bringing out all the words Shinobi, Bakemono, and there's a few more in here. The Oni, Bakemono, Shinobi. What have you? What next? The ninjutsu tracking system. Armor is the Chatham Bakemono Ferro Aluminium or aluminum. Armament is a single Shigunga MRM-30 launcher, 2 diverse optics Type 30X ER large lasers, and a single diverse optics Sunbeam ER small. It's manufactured by Wakazashi Enterprises, primary factory on Chatham. Its communication system is the Garrett T-22, and targeting and tracking is the Megane Neko 6, which I believe means cat's eye, I think is a rough translation, which makes sense for targeting and tracking, I guess, as a naming convention. Stat-wise, this is a craft that can move 711 at its max thrust. It has 13 double heatsinks with 26 dissipation overall. It has 125 armor, with 37 on the nose, 30 on the wings, and 28 on the aft. Not a bad-looking fighter, actually. It looks chunky and like it can take a few hits, but the nose-mounted MRM launcher it's pretty cool, actually. I like the overall visual design of this fighter. Yeah. It makes sense. To me, it's less of a dogfighter and definitely more of either a strike fighter against other larger aerospace assets or space assets, like dropships, obviously. I could see this thing strafing spheroid dropships or more conventional Aerodyne designs. And in ground warfare, this is definitely like, this is a tank killer. This is the kind of thing that strafes over and it just, rakes missile and laser fire across columns of armored vehicles, or it hits lighter battle mechs. I could definitely see this being the kind of thing that's called in for those kind of operations. Dogfighting, I don't know. I don't know really enough about the aerospace combat rules, if even dogfighting is possible on on the normal sort of tabletop battlefield, unless you've got multiple hex boards altogether to cover the distances that these things travel. But yeah, I guess this thing probably isn't as good as some lighter fighters in terms of being able to maneuver. I imagine this thing probably needs some kind of backup. I see it as being an equivalent of a real world, like a World War II strike fighter, something like trying to remember, like is it the A-26 Marauder during World War II, a Bristol bow fighter, something like that, a BF-110. I think it's like one of those kind of fighters, basically, capable of being able to do some significant damage to ground forces, but not exactly the best. I think it would basically be described more as a fighter bomber than anything more specific for engaging other enemy fighters. But in the weird and wacky world of BattleTech, these things are neither here nor there. But yeah, it's cool. I like the design. Good artwork for a fighter there, and a nice little choice to have. Obviously, what looks like the rising sun kind of thing in the artwork there, at least in the original book. I'm sure there's been other pictures drawn of this since, which are probably up on the screen by now. But yeah, Oni, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I could definitely see this being a much more common sight in a lot of the bolder areas, especially going up against probably more well-defended targets in Lyran and Fedsun space. But yeah, all right, well, I'll leave it there. That was the Oni. Cool little fire. Have a good one all, as always. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.